Hello students, in previous lecture we had discussed the first step, that is the primary treatment of sewage, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about the second step or second stage, that is secondary treatment of sewage. So the biological process of sewage is a secondary treatment involving removing, stabilizing and rendering harmless very fine suspended matter, colloids and dissolved solids of sewage that issue from the sedimentation tank, where most of the matter in suspension has been removed. So this secondary treatment, also known as biological treatment, dissolved and suspended biological materials are removed by indigenous microbial decomposition in a managed environment. In this treatment, BOD is reduced up to 90 to 95%. So the total biological treatment or secondary treatment is carried out in two different phases. First phase is aerobic phase. Under aerobic phase, again we have to pass three steps or three stages. First is oxidation lagoons, trickling filters, then third one activated sludge. And the second stage or second phase is anaerobic phase. That means in the absence of oxygen, that is sludge digestion. So now we discuss one by one. It is the aerobic phase, that means all the steps or all the processes are happen in the presence of oxygen. So let us discuss the first one. This is oxidation lagoons or oxidation pond, or other name is stabilization pond. So it is an outdoor simple suspension type aerobic treatment. An oxidation pond, also called stabilization pond. So it is an artificial pond in which sewage can be retained for a sufficient time to satisfy the biochemical oxygen demand, that is BOD, and thereby make the sewage non-harmful or harmful-less. The purifying action in an oxidation pond can be explained because of a unique relationship between bacteria and algae in shallow ponds. So an oxidation ponds can successfully treat either raw sewage or settled sewage. Basically, it is suggested for small societies in rural areas where sufficient low-lying land of little real estate value is available, or also it is suggested for small cities where relatively large land area are easily and cheaply available, and also in tropical countries having dry climate and warm temperature. It is the oldest of the sewage treatment system. This method used in most of developing countries due to its low cost. The shallow pond is required, which should be maximum of 10 feet depth, having inlet and an outlet. As shown in this figure, this is the inlet of this artificial pond, this is oxidation pond, and this is the outlet. This figure shows the total oxidation process of an oxidation pond. For this, there are some requirements. First requirement is presence of algal growth, which produces oxygen. As its name is oxidation pond, so without oxygen nothing is happen. So oxygen is necessary, which we can grow with the help of algae. Next, oxygen is also available from atmosphere, heterotrophic aerobic and anaerobic microbes for decomposing sewage. Sunlight required for photosynthesis also has bacterial properties. Some advantages of oxidation pond. It is simple, it is inexpensive, also it has low maintenance. Also quickness in construction, high efficiency of BOD removal. These are the basic advantages of the oxidation pond. Also it has some disadvantages like affected by environment like low temperature, cloudy sky, lowers efficiency of the oxidation process. It takes longer time or long retention period. It also gives bad odors. It is not hygienic, and it just lowers BOD by 25% to 60%. And due to some non-hygienic and bad odors and nuisance, some mosquito breeding are created, which also polluted the total environment. So these are the some disadvantages of oxidation pond. Then second one is the trickling filter method. So it is an outdoor aerobic, relatively simple but a film flow type. It is also called percolating filter. The trickling filters are similar to contact beds, which we had already discussed about the contact beds and the function of contact beds. So the trickling filter is similar to contact beds in construction, but allow constant aeration and the action is also continuous. The main function of a trickling filter is to remove unstable organic materials in the form of dissolved and finely divided organic solids, and to oxidize these solids biologically to form more stable materials. So the biological process involved in the filter is due to the growth of a microbial film on the surface of the filter medium. This tank is filled with porous bed of crushed stones, rocks, clinker, as shown here in this figure. It consists of a large cylindrical concrete tank of diameter 8 to 16 meter, and it has a depth of 2 meter to 3 meter. Here sewage enter through the inlet, reaches to the sprinkler, reaches to this sprinkler as shown in this figure. As its arms rotate, sewage is sprayed on the porous bed. Below the porous bed, network of drain pipe is present. The treated sewage trickles to the bottom, collects in a depression called slum. From there, single main outlet carry treated sewage effluent. So, as shown in this figure, these are the sprinklers through which the sewage is sprinkled to this bed, and again there filtrate or passing through this contact bed slowly, and these are the rotating arms of sprinkler spray sewage, which helps to saturate the sewage drops with oxygen. And as sprinkling is intermittent, sewage gets enough space and time to percolate and the system maintain aerobic condition. So the total process is happen in the presence of oxygen. So it is a totally aerobic condition. As sewage trickles, microbes in sewage colonize the surface and form microbial film. And the surface becomes covered with aerobic microbial population comprising of bacterial species including different types of bacteria. These are some examples of this type of bacteria like microfungi, protozoa, etc. In this, slime producing bacteria plays a vital role or very important role. With time, film becomes thicker and thicker. So we have to change it or we have to clean it in a regular interval of time. After some time, the oxygen and nutrients cannot reach innermost cells and they die and the film gets clogged off. So this can block the pores and untreated sewage starts accumulating on the top. Then porous bed has to be changed. So due to clogging at a regular interval, again we have to change the bed. This is also a figure of trickling filter. Also the it has some essential features necessary like sufficient surface area must be provided for biological growth. Free oxygen must be available at the surface and the dissolved oxygen extracted from the liquid layer. Some advantages of trickling filter. Lowers BOD of sewage by 75 to 85%. Efficiency can be increased further by using series of such filters. It is relatively cheaper and this trickling filter is easy to operate and it is advanced than the oxidation pond. Also mechanical wear and tear is very small in this trickling filter process. They are self-cleaning. Rate of filter loading is much higher. And also it has some disadvantages. Porous bed has to be changed periodically due to clogging. Efficiency affected by environment. During spraying, aerosols are formed that help in spread of pathogens. So this is the major disadvantages. Also it requires large land. Cost of construction also high. They require preliminary treatment and therefore cannot treat raw sewage. So these are the basic disadvantages of this trickling filter. For this lecture this much. In next lecture we will proceed with the third step, that is activated sludge process. So thank you.